Hello, my name's Henry. I'm from Mongolia, and at the moment I live in Australia. And I took the IELTS to expand my visa and extend my visa in Australia. So I took online course from the IELTS podcast, and then I'm really happy with the band's service.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Henry.
no worries, man.
Okay. So you want to extend your stay in Australia, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I see. Did you say you were a student at the moment?
No, I came to Australia to study for my master degree, and I completed it last year. So right now I'm just living in Australia, working. Yeah.
Interesting. May I ask what job you're doing?
Actually, my major is accounting, but currently I'm working in construction field. Like I work as a plan reader in construction company.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm curious. We're just going to go a bit off topic now, but how did an accountant end up as a plan reader in a construction site?
Yeah, it's interesting and also a long story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, no worries. We'll talk about that another day. So,
Yeah.
I guess you've taken the test a few times before, no, to get onto the master's program.
Actually, the first test was TOEFL. I took the TOEFL IBT maybe so many years ago, and then before this time, I took the IELTS last year, also to extend my visa, and then that time I didn't got any like the long period enough time to prepare it. I think I had only 1 or 2 weeks, so I just familiarized myself with the IELTS structure and then like type of questions. So I really didn't prepare it, just familiarized myself, and then I just did okay with my first attempt. And then I extended my visa, and then I had to took it again this year, also for same reason. And then this time I had like 1 month and a half to prepare it, and then I got a much better result this time.
Very interesting. I see. Could you tell us the results you got the first time, please?
Okay, so I got the 6.5 that time, and reading and listening is 6.5, speaking 7, writing 6.
Oh, I see. And this was just with like very minimum preparation and just basically familiarizing yourself with the exam.
Yes, I think the my learning, like my study in master, helped much about that.
Yeah.
So like without that, I couldn't get that score. So like that time, I just completed my degree.
Right.
So like after I completed my degree 1 week, I took the exam. So I was fresh that time. So I think that's why I got the 6.5. Otherwise, the IELTS is not easy test to take to get a good score.
Absolutely. But I know what you mean about being sort of like fresh, because if you're writing and using the language every day, then, and you've been like this for a good year or two, and then you have to carry on using it in a test, it's much easier than if you had stopped writing and you'd just been speaking and listening in English, for example, for the last year, and then suddenly you've got to get writing again, because I don't know about you, but when I'm writing in a foreign language, it can go rusty. The skills can get rusty unless you are constantly using them and maintaining them. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's right. I totally agree with that.
All right.
Yeah.
What were the biggest challenges you had with the IELTS when you did do your test?
I see my weakest points are writing and speaking.
Right.
And but people don't realize until they get the valuable feedback. Like they don't know how well or bad they are performing in like a specific section. So I got to find out like how bad is my writing when I got feedback first time. And then I was also surprised, like, wow, this is it. So like I see some light, like I can improve my writing because I got the feedback and I know my mistakes. And so it was quite shocking when I got the feedback first time.
I see. Are you talking about the feedback you got from our online course or from another?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Gotcha.
I never took any other courses. So you are my first choice, and yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. It's like a high school romance, the first love.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I know you've been faithful then. That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm
because
go on, sorry.
Because before I chose your course, I was listening your podcast for many months, like for a long time.
Okay.
So like I thought myself, if I take the IELTS again, I'm gonna take the course from the IELTS podcast. So that's why I didn't look for the different courses.
Right.
So I just straight went to your services. Yeah.
Gotcha. I understand. Okay, that's interesting. And Henry, did you not get any feedback on your master's course?
Actually, in master, they don't tell you about the grammars and structure things. The only thing is like the content of it. You have to should have include this kind of information or like something like this, not like grammar-wise, English-wise. Actually, I started learning English by myself, never taught English by any teacher. So like grammar is my big weakness because like I studied only, the essential grammar in use and intermediate and something like I did these books by myself. That's all the grammar I know.
Interesting. Very interesting. And just to dig into this a little bit deeper, so you got the feedback and then you knew which areas to work on and you studied those specific areas. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. So once you had these areas identified, because before you had no idea, once the essay correctors had identified them, how did you go about improving? What steps did you take?
First of all, my biggest mistake was articles. So like I never know there is some kind of like specific rules for that. I just learn like observation, like through the observation, not through the like grammar or the specific rules. So I started learning from internet. So have to master articles in essay writing, something like this. So I try to apply this new knowledge to my next answers. So this is how I improve the writing, like grammar wise. Yeah.
I see. What did you use English grammar in use? You said you used the internet. Did you just go online and then just put something like how to use articles ESL or something like that?
Actually, the grammar in use is like I used it when I started learning English,
right.
not currently. But I think you also included in your online course about some links about the articles and grammar things. So I go through this link and then I think in British Council or something, very reliable sources, and then a lot of like tests and examples. So I learned much from that source as well.
An excellent point there. Excellent point, because we can, in the course, we can definitely identify your errors and we can give you help to improve them, especially when it is IELTS related. If we can, or if there is time, we will explain the grammar as well. But more often than not, it's a good step to take to do exactly what Henry did, and that is to research online, because we can tell you the rule maybe in about 30 seconds, but that doesn't mean that you're going to integrate it and internalize it and use it perfectly the next time. To get to using it perfectly the next time, you have to do, I'd strongly recommend you do what Henry did, which is to research online, find reliable sources, and then do, I guess you were doing like online tests just to test your knowledge and looking for examples to just to confirm and really just sort of like internalize what you'd learned. Would you agree?
Yeah. That's right.
Super. So, let's move on to the next point. What was your biggest challenge before you joined the online course? What was your biggest challenge with IELTS?
Biggest challenge was, I think it was like listening the answer and then writing the answer at the same time. Like in a listening section, I'm listening the speaker. Also, I'm also reading the questions. And then I have to write down the answers while I am listening. That was my biggest challenge.
Interesting. And tell us, how did you solve this?
The only solution for this problem is practice. So I found the word like practice makes perfect. So
Exactly.
This is the only solution. Yeah. We have to practice every day.
Right. And where did you get your practice tests from?
I bought a Cambridge book from number 1 to 12, I guess. Yeah, I only focused on that book because I think this is the most reliable source for the preparation. Yeah.
Another good point there about using reliable sources. So you worked through the whole book and you did practice test after practice test.
Yes, that's right.
Interesting. Now then, with the writing, what would you say grammar was your biggest issue? What about like planning the essay or thinking of ideas or like timing? Any other issues you had with regards to that?
Yeah, I think writing as a whole is a big issue for me.
Yeah.
Yes, like these are all included. That like timing, also the planning. Like I never planned my essay for my first attempt. So I just learned it for my second attempt, and then it was like the essential thing to do in writing in order to get the higher score. Right. And like idea generation also is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the writing is a very big issue for me.
So you would say planning was an issue?
Yes.
And idea generation. Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's all related to each other. If you can't generate enough idea or correct idea, it takes a lot of time. So you cannot finish your essay in time. Yeah. So it's all related to each other. So writing is like very difficult. I think it's very difficult for many students, not only for me. It's very common.
it absolutely is one of the biggest pain points for IELTS students. And a few weeks ago, we had an interview, and a girl was telling us how she generates ideas. And in the course as well, this is why we've got like 2 important chapters about generating ideas and a system for generating ideas, which you then drop into your plan, which you then sort of like drop into the framework. Is that what you did, Henry?
Yeah. And the C2 template helps me a lot. So I just practice this template for any type of questions.
Yeah.
Just a little bit shifting it into the different style. And then I just practiced it.
You said shifting it, like adapting it, yeah?
Yeah, adapting it to different question types.
Gotcha. Okay. Super. And then you found that worked for you on the test day, correct?
Yes.
Gotcha.
This is the main thing that helped me to get my desired score.
Gotcha. What score did you need?
I need to have at least 7 in writing.
Okay, right. And can you tell us what scores you got overall?
Overall, I got 7.5 this time.
Yeah.
And then I increased my writing from 6 to 7, one whole band score.
Super.
So it was amazing.
Absolutely. Well done.
Thank you.
And what about your other scores from your other results, from your other tests?
Yeah, I also increased a lot. Like in reading, I got 8. I got 8 in reading, and then 7.5 in listening, and speaking 7. Only speaking stays same.
Awesome.
I didn't prepare for the speaking.
Gotcha. What you left speaking because you're using it every day? Is that right? Or
yeah, almost. But in Australia we have a small community, so I work with people from same country. So I speak in Mongolia when I'm working.
Right.
So like there is not that much interaction with the English speaker here as well.
Oh.
So it's also hard to practice English. So people think like if I live in Australia, they think like I am very fluent and then like every day speaking someone who is native speaker, something like this. But it's all different here.
Yeah, I'm guilty of exactly the same. Like at the moment I'm living in Poland and I can survive perfectly well without having to speak Polish, Like even in the supermarkets, it's self-service, so I'm not interacting with anybody. And then at the restaurants, I'm speaking English and they understand, and it's quite easy to get around without speaking the language. But what about in your masters? Were you not speaking all the time?
Yes.
And interacting with the others?
Yes, I speak in English when I'm at the university.
Yeah.
But I only go to school twice a week, 2 days a week. Okay. So it's not enough, to improve my English to a higher level.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why I always listen to the podcast on the way to my work, because it takes like 1 hour.
Wow.
Each way. So like 2 hours I've got. So I always listen to the podcast, your podcast, and also the BBC News and 99 Invisibles. This is the podcast that I think one of the students who were in your podcast mentioned this podcast. So I just searched it on the internet and found the 99% Invisible. So it's a really nice podcast.
Tell me about that. I can't remember exactly what is it about.
It's about like many different topics, but they explain and do some research about the topic, and then like very interesting. I think the one of your student who is a doctor in Australia, I think, mentioned this one.
Okay, I vaguely remember now.
Oh yeah.
I think so. So they go into a topic, they explain it, like what would be a topic, for example, I don't know, like marine life in Fiji or something like that, or
Not that big topics, just the normal things like interesting facts, some statue, why statue is there, and then what is happening in the society because of the statue, something like this. Like very interesting facts all around the world. Not only scientific things. So just a normal life and very interesting.
Excellent. And did that help you when you were thinking of ideas for your essays?
Yes, I would say like more helped me for my listening.
Okay.
Because I always listening, and then like if you listen like spending a lot of time listening to English podcast, you will turn like your brain turn to English, like thinking in English. So it helped me a lot. Listen, and also maybe for my speaking as well.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Good points there. Good points. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the end of the interview. You've done your test.
Okay.
Now, do you have any other tips what would you say to somebody who is on the fence and thinking about joining the online course?
Okay, I highly recommend the IELTS Podcast services, online courses, also the essay correction services, because I got the score that I wanted through their help, and also very good. You will get a very valuable feedback on your answers, and then you will improve your score in very short time. So I definitely recommend this online course.
Thank you very much for that, Henry. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we are now near the end of the recording. Just one last thing. Do you have any other tips for students for the IELTS?
Yep. I've got one. The first is like practice makes perfect. You have to practice. Like any skill you need to improve, you have to practice every day. This is the most important. Secondly, get feedback. This is another very effective way to improve your score in very short time, and you will save a lot of time and a lot of money. And then it's like the two main things to get the good score in IELTS.
Absolutely. I love that advice, because it's quite easy to think, okay, I'm going to buy a book, I'm going to buy a course, I'm going to go to some classes, and then I'll pass IELTS. It doesn't work like that. You've got to do those things, but actually use them and put in the time, the effort, the energy, and not only get the feedback, but take action after getting the feedback as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page with that, Henry. Okay, so thank you very much, Henry. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really appreciate you invited me for this podcast. So good luck with all the students for the IELTS preparation, and then thank you for your help.
You're welcome, Henry. It's been a pleasure, and good luck in extending your stay in Australia, and I hope you end up being an accountant if that's what you want. I guess, is that what you want to do at the end of the day?
Yeah, well, I haven't decided yet. Yeah, okay. But thank you anyway.
No worries,
thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to IELTSPodcast.com.